Now, Michelle, this is a pretty major ruling. A gun shop that sold the gun was found liable for the way the gun was used after it was sold. If this isn't overturned, it could affect a lot of gun sales. If it is overturned, or I guess rather, do you think it'll be overturned?
It's very difficult to get something overturned. So when it comes to the Court of Appeals, when things get appealed to the next level, they don't appeal the facts. They appeal the ruling of law. So they're going to look to see if the judge mistakenly instructed the jury on something he shouldn't have, or if the jury heard something they shouldn't have. That's the only way to get something overruled. It's not going to be on the facts. The appellate court's not going to look at it and go, you know what, we think the jury got it wrong here. What they're going to look at is to see if the judge was properly instructing that jury on that particular set of facts properly.
So if this does become precedent, will it become precedent for other dangerous items that are sold and kill more people than guns do? For example, cars. I mean, if someone has just bought a car and maybe drives it off the lot and kills someone with it, will the car salesman be held liable? Will the person who, for example, sold a hammer at a hardware store be held liable, or a knife at a hardware store? This is a pretty slippery slope, isn't it?
This just goes to show you how highly politicized guns are, and how a judge may even legislate from the bench just because the item used was a gun. You're exactly right. You don't see these sorts of court cases when it comes to cars with DWIs. With as many DWI deaths we have per year, cars aren't outlawed. There's no huge laws restricting how to drive a car, except you gotta go the speed limit. So you're exactly right. The thing is this was a gun. It's a highly politicized tool that people decide to use, and it may become a very slippery slope when it comes to using guns to defend yourself, or even possessing guns in this area.
Gun control was brought up a lot last night during the Dim debate. If you happen to see it, here's one exchange between Bernie Sanders and Martin O'Malley.
Look, it's fine to talk about all of these things, and I'm glad we're talking about these things, but I've actually done them. We passed comprehensive gun safety legislation, not by looking at the pollings or looking at what the polls said. We actually did it.
But I come from a rural state, and the views on gun control in rural states are different than in urban states, whether we like it or not. Our job is to bring people together around strong, common sense gun legislation. I think there is a vast majority in this country who want to do the right thing, and I intend to lead the country.
Senator, it was not about rural and urban.
Exactly about
Have you ever been to the Eastern Shore? Have you ever been to Western Maryland? We were able to pass this and still respect the hunting traditions of people who live in our rural areas. And we did it by leading with principle, not by pandering to the NRA.
They like to use the word common sense a lot, don't they?
It's just shocking. None of those arguments make any logical sense, and it just that people applauded to that. What they are failing to mention is that you cannot legislate out evil. Evil people exist, and how are you going to stop evil? You can't. It's been from the biblical times. We've heard of evil, you know, hurting people since forever, and the only way to protect yourself from a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
That's right. Well, Jim Webb actually talked about his gun control stance. Here you go. Here's this.
But we have to respect the tradition in this country of people who want to defend themselves and their family from violence.
Senator?
There are people are going back and forth here for 10 minutes here. You know, there are people at high levels in this government who have bodyguards 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The average American does not have that and deserves the right to be able to protect their family.
Did he get a little lost in that? Wasn't sounding much like the Democrat line, was he?
Not at all, and I hate to say it, but I agree. It's like when the Pope was in town not too long ago. He made some anti-gun comments, but at the same time, he was surrounded by 10 men with guns.
Yeah, it's easy to say that the little people shouldn't have them when the big people yourself does have them, I guess. Lincoln Chafee had a little bit to say about gun policy. Here you go. Maybe. I think so. Do we have it? We don't have it. Sorry
Chief,
about that.
you have an F rating from the NRA. What do you think about what Senator Webb just said?
Yes, I have a good record of voting for common sense gun safety legislation, but the reality is, despite these tragedies that happen time and time again, when legislators step up to pass common sense gun safety legislation, the gun lobby moves in and tells the people they're coming to take away your guns. And they're successful at it. In Colorado and other states, the legislators that vote for common sense gun safety measures then get defeated. I even saw in Rhode Island. So I would bring the gun lobby in and say, we've got to change this. Where can we find common ground? Wayne LaPierre from the NRA, whoever it is, the leaders, come on, we've got to change this. We're not coming to take away your guns. We believe in the Second Amendment, but let's find common ground here.
Common ground, common sense, common good. It all seems to be a little catchy there, doesn't it? Michelle, what do you think they mean when they say all of this?
Well, I think every gun owner in America should be highly offended by what this individual said, because we are not paranoid citizens. We are not worried. Some of us may be. Personally, and the people that I represent, we are not typically afraid that the government's going to come busting down our doors and take our guns. What we are afraid of is that evil that I spoke of earlier. You cannot legislate evil out of people. It's human nature. It's the power of free will. And it is your ability to be able to defend yourself when somebody comes looking for you to harm you or the ones you love.
Well said, Michelle. I think they needed you on that stage last night. I definitely, that would make me think I had to switch parties and everything. So thank you for being with us, Michelle. Up next,